Sophia didn't tell Fulo that her father wanted her to marry Elix, and she refused. She felt that her father was testing her to see if she really had the ambition to compete with Fulo for the throne. With the help of Elix and the Pangbo Empire, she might really have a chance to become the Queen of Xia. For some reason, Sophia felt a strong resistance to everything here, as if she didn't belong to this world. However, this feeling quickly disappeared, as if it had never existed. Sophia, Elix is the son of Light who performed outstandingly in the genius battle. Are you really not moved? I don't like him. Are you satisfied with that answer? Indeed, like father, like daughter, both of the same ilk. The old one thinks she wants to seize power, the young one thinks she wants to steal love. Currently, she truly doesn't have those thoughts. As for the future, it depends on their behavior. If they provoke her anger, she might just fulfill their wishes. On this continent, humans worship the God of Light and revere the Radiant Church, which executes the divine authority of the God of Light. Just over a decade ago, the Pope who presided over the Radiant Church brought a prophecy from the God of Light. The prophecy foretold that the Son of Light, unseen for over 6,000 years, would soon be born and lead humanity toward greater glory. However, this time, two sons of light appeared. Crown Prince Elix of the Pangbo Empire and Crown Prince Pero of the Kaidan Empire. The three great empires were originally evenly matched, but after Pero revealed his identity as the Son of Light and became the Pope's disciple, everything changed. The Radiant Church covertly supported the Kaidan Empire, enabling it to leapfrog ahead as the strongest of the three empires. The strength of the Xia Empire was relatively weak. To resist the Kaidan Empire, the King of Xia decided to form a marriage alliance with the Pangbo Empire to jointly defend against Kaidan. The influence of the Radiant Church was immense, even empires had to obey its commands. In the recent genius battle, Elix shone brilliantly, exposing Pero's false identity and vindicating himself as the true Son of Light. After Pero's impersonation of the Son of Light was revealed, the Kaidan Empire promptly announced to the entire continent that Pero's actions were unrelated to the empire, stripping him of his crown prince status in an attempt to downplay the incident. After more than a decade of development, the Kaidan Empire's strength cannot be underestimated, making the other two nations hesitant to rashly declare war. Deprived of his status as both an imperial crown prince and the Son of Light, Pero naturally redirected all his attention toward Elix. Knowing that Sophia would not compete with her for Elix's favor, Fulo temporarily breathed a sigh of relief. Sophia's appearance far surpassed her own. From childhood, every man around her eventually became captivated by Sophia's beauty. Even as a woman, she had to admit Sophia's allure. However, no matter how beautiful, Sophia was destined by their father to be a tool for political marriage. She heard from their father that once Sophia turned 18, she would be married off, and then no one would compete with her for the throne of Xia. Good, you know your place. Fulo sized up Sophia and said haughtily. Sophia did not continue the conversation with Fulo, leaving with a slight smile. At the age of 6, she had learned the truth of her origin. The King of Xia was not her father. She was picked up and brought back by the King of Xia, which in itself was strange, considering the old and cunning king's nature. To avoid arousing suspicion from the King of Xia, Sophia pretended for 10 years. The king doted deeply on Fulo, and she had no desire to provoke a quarrel. If an argument broke out, the king would undoubtedly side with Fulo without hesitation. Over all these years, she had grown accustomed to it. The King of Xia and Fulo disliked her, so she kept her distance. Sophia had indeed considered escaping, but the King of Xia had assigned an 8th-rank assassin to watch her every move. Before a 9th-rank expert, she had no chance to flee. Instead, she would alert the king and prompt him to act preemptively. As border tensions between the Xia Empire and the Kaidan Empire intensified, the Xia Empire decided to form a marriage alliance with the Pengbo Empire. With Elix now highly sought after, the king of Xia proposed marrying his daughter, Princess Fulo, to Elix to cement ties between the two nations. If Elix were to marry Princess Fulo, upon the king's passing, Elix would become the ruler of Xia. Offering an entire nation as a dowry seemed like a great opportunity, yet the Pengbo Empire refused. Elix, what are your thoughts on this? The king of Pengbo looked at Elix and inquired. Father, I agree to the marriage alliance, but it must be with Princess Sophia. I do not care for Fulo, Elix stated firmly. You have feelings for Sophia. How did you two meet? The king of Pengbo suddenly grew interested. His son had never shown much interest in women before, and now he was mentioning a woman's name. She is beautiful, father. Son, you are still young. Looks alone cannot sustain you, the king responded. However, I have managed to secure 2 years for you. Use that time to nurture your relationship well. It is good that my son has finally awakened to such matters, otherwise, when would I ever get a grandchild? 2 years will be more than enough. The Pengbo Empire and the Xia Empire reached an agreement. Although no formal betrothal was established, the Xia Empire sent both princesses to study in the Pengbo Empire. Officially, this was for education, but in reality, it aimed to foster relationships and lay a solid foundation for the marriage alliance 2 years later. Royal Magic Academy of the Pengbo Empire. Elix, I am your fiancé. Why do you constantly ignore me? In what way am I unworthy of you? Over the past few months, Elix's attitude toward her had been extremely cold. Every time, she was the one making warm advances only to be met with indifference. As a princess of a nation, chasing after a man all day, does she have no dignity left? Today, she was determined to get an explanation from Elix. Princess Fulo, you are here to study, so focus on your studies. Moreover, we are not yet engaged, so please stop referring to yourself as my fiancé. Although both nations have expressed interest in a marriage alliance, no formal engagement has been established to date, so it does not count. He had made it clear earlier. He did not care for her, he had someone else in mind. Were it not for the concern that Sophia might be recalled to the Xia Empire by the king of Xia, he would have long ago declared to the entire continent that it was Sophia he wished to marry. With his current strength, he is not yet capable of negotiating with King Xia. Alex, don't go too far. Flo fiercely threw out a sentence and left the Royal Academy. She, Flo, was not to be trifled with. If she discovered who Alex liked, she would never easily let that bitch off. Anyone daring to compete with her, Flo, for someone must be prepared for death. Flo furiously returned to her room, snatched the vase from the table, and hurled it violently to the ground, shattering it into countless pieces. Flo's stream of curses continued, her whole demeanor bordering on frantic. Princess Flo, why such fury? Did Alex humiliate you? A voice suddenly echoed in the room. Who's in my chamber? Show yourself. The song instantly put Flo on alert. Just as she was about to call for help, a familiar figure appeared before her peril. How did you get in here? Flo asked, surprised upon recognizing the visitor. Naturally, I came to see you. You're King Xia's most beloved princess. For Alex to publicly humiliate you like that is practically stomping on the face of the Xia Empire. Why not try someone else? Peril reclined lazily on the sofa, arched an eyebrow, and fixed his gaze intently on Flo, watching her like prey. Who else? Is there anyone on the entire continent who can surpass Alex? Peril, don't tell me it's you. You're just a homeless dog now, driven out by everyone. Flo shot Peril a disdainful look. A flash of malice quickly flickered in Peril's eyes, gone in an instant, unnoticed by Flo. After he lost his usefulness, she discarded him without hesitation. No wonder Alex wanted nothing to do with her. That bitch. If he didn't still have use for her, he would tear her to shreds to vent his hatred. So what if my identity was exposed? Soon enough, I'll be reinstated as the crown prince of the Khitan Empire. Do you think I wanted to impersonate the Son of Light? If someone hadn't offered immense benefits, the emperor would never have risked it. To gain Flo's trust, Pero had to reveal part of the truth, hoping to lower her guard. Flo didn't dislike him, it was just that without his prestigious status, she looked down on him. You chose Alex because of his position. If he died, would you change your mind? What do you mean by that? Flo stared intently at Pero, trying to read his expression. Someone within the Radiant Church doesn't want Alex alive. Do you think he'll survive to become the God of Light? No matter how strong he is alone, can he overpower the entire Radiant Church? Has your father recently stopped pushing you to build a relationship with Alex? Pero guided Flo step by step to weigh the pros and cons. Knowing Flo as well as he did, he was certain she would waver. The title of Son of Light may sound prestigious, but it's ultimately hollow. The Son of Light isn't a god, it's entirely possible for him to die prematurely. Are you planning to take action? Yes. Pero gave an ambiguous answer, naturally unwilling to reveal the entire plan. Elsewhere, the magic of the Pangboa Empire differs from that of the Xia Empire. Pangboa specializes in offensive magic and lacks defensive magic skills. Sophia was troubled by the few offensive spells she had mastered. If she learned attack magic, her cultivation could break through to the 9th level within 2 years. If King Xia tried to kill her, she could fight back. As Sophia was immersed in studying magic skills, Alex silently slipped behind her and covered her eyes with his hands. Guess who? Alex leaned close to Sophia, whispering softly in her ear. Darkness enveloped Sophia's vision, and the sound of Alex's deep voice in her ear told her he had arrived. She took a deep breath to calm herself, preventing herself from losing control, silently repeating. Be tolerant. Be patient. Don't stoop to his level. If she hadn't stopped in time, the magic would have hit herself. Sophia forcefully pried Alex's hands away and snapped. Alex, how many times have I told you not to disturb me when I'm studying new magic? Alex pouted with a wounded look. But if I don't do this, you'll ignore me all day. He tried many times, and this was the most effective method. Covering Sophia's eyes always snapped her out of her focused state. Though watching her was blissful, he wanted more. He wanted her filled with thoughts of him. He longed to participate in her world and carve out a place for himself within it. Looking at Alex's handsome face, Sophia finally forgave him and took a step back. All right, I won't blame you. Stop looking so pitiful. Hearing this, Alex's gloom instantly lifted, replaced by a sunny smile. Somehow, she always felt like she was in a relationship with a younger brother, even though Alex was actually a month older than her. Why did he seem more childish than her, needing her to comfort him, clinging to her like glue that just wouldn't come off? If it weren't for his face, she wouldn't bother comforting him at all. Such was the importance of having a handsome face. Sophia, what magic are you studying? Alex asked, his head resting on her shoulder as he gazed intently at her. Sophia glanced at Alex with her golden eyes and caught her own reflection in his dark, profound gaze, causing her heart to involuntarily skip a beat. Why did she feel like Alex was always trying to flirt with her? No, she had to hold her ground. They weren't even 18 yet, so they couldn't do that sort of thing. Restraint spell, Sophia said coolly. Hearing the words restraint spell, Alex snapped back to reality. Sophia was annoyed by his clinginess and wanted to develop a new spell to bind him. His cultivation level was higher than hers, so ordinary magic couldn't hold him for long. Sophia, do you really find me annoying? Why are you researching a restraint spell? Alex gave up all pretense of dignity and rested his head directly on Sophia's pale, slender thigh, his deep eyes fixed intently on her. Alex's gaze was so fiery that Sophia couldn't ignore him any longer. She finally set down her book, bent her legs, and drew his face closer to hers. Leaning down, she quickly branded his lips with a light kiss. Only for an instant, their lips parted. How did it end so quickly? That doesn't count. I want to kiss back. Ulysses didn't expect his first kiss to be gone just like that and clamored to return the kiss. Sophia naturally didn't let Ulysses succeed. Instead, she countered with a restraint spell, leaving him immobilized and unable to move a muscle. Sophia, you just wait. Don't you dare run away. Ulysses shouted in frustration. Though his body was frozen, he could still speak. Sophia chuckled lightly. Who in their right mind would flee? This was her bedchamber. Where could she possibly go? If anyone should leave, it would be Ulysses. Over there, Ulysses was channeling his spiritual energy to break through the restraints on his body. With a series of crackling sounds, he shattered the binding spell and regained his freedom. Realizing he could move again, he swiftly pinned Sophia to the ground, his pitch-black eyes fixed unwaveringly on her golden pupils as he pondered whether to lean in for a kiss. 幸好 Sophia probably won't get mad, right? 幸好 Ulysses thought to himself. After hesitating for a few seconds, he stopped hesitating and pressed his lips against her tempting crimson lips. Sophia didn't push Ulysses away. Instead, she cradled his dark head with both hands, responding to him in another way. Their breaths intertwined so thoroughly that one became indistinguishable from the other, filling the air with a suggestive tension. Lost in their deep, passionate kiss, it seemed as though only they existed in their world. Suddenly, a series of violent knocks on the door broke their reverie, accompanied by Flo's angry shouts. Instantly brought back to reality, Sophia hurriedly had Ulysses hid in her wardrobe. Just as Ulysses was stuffed into the wardrobe, Flo barged in and demanded loudly, Sophia, did you go seduce Ulysses? Sophia hadn't expected Flo to be so direct. She avoided answering and instead asked, Flo, where did you hear that? Have you ever seen me with Ulysses? She and Ulysses had been very cautious, keeping their interactions away from others. Aside from those they trusted, no one else knew they were dating. To avoid suspicion, they rarely greeted each other in public. Who told Flo? Could someone have really seen them? Sophia remained calm. Without evidence, she wouldn't confess. That's good. Even if you were together, it wouldn't matter. He won't live much longer. After hearing the answer she wanted, Flo mysteriously added a comment before leaving. So, Flo was trying to trick her. And what did Flo mean by that last remark? Sophia was puzzled. Not long after Flo left, Ulysses emerged from Sophia's wardrobe with a flushed face. The wardrobe held many of Sophia's intimate garments, leaving him flushed. Ulysses quietly moved behind Sophia, naturally wrapping his arms around her and holding her captive in his embrace. Seeing her knitted brows, he knew she was worried about his safety and softly reassured her, don't listen to Flo. My cultivation has already reached the 7th tier peak, and the Emperor has assigned me many guards. I'll be fine. But before Sophia could finish her sentence, he captured her lips. They hadn't had enough of their kiss earlier when they were interrupted, and he didn't want to miss this wonderful moment. Ulysses gently cupped Sophia's delicate face in his hands, sealing the lips that had been about to speak. Taking the chance to deepen the kiss, their tongues intertwined as they tasted each other's sweetness. After a long time, Ulysses reluctantly released Sophia. It was getting late, and he needed to leave. Sophia's cheeks flushed with a rosy hue from the kiss, displaying a woman's delicate charm. It took her a while to calm down. Sophia, I have to go. Rest well, I'll come see you tomorrow. Ulysses' eyes revealed reluctance. If it weren't for Sophia not wanting others to know about their relationship, they wouldn't have to be so cautious in their interactions. How he wished he could stand openly and proudly by Sophia's side, declaring loudly that she was his fiancée. Hurry back. I need to rest. Their relationship couldn't be exposed yet, or it would cause trouble. Sophia, remember to think of me. Before leaving, Yelakisi emphasized. She had to think of him, and he would think of her too. I'll miss you. See you tomorrow. After seeing off her clingy boyfriend, Sophia finally found peace. Though men might slow down her cultivation progress, they were the spice of life. As for Yelakisi, while Sophia liked him, she wouldn't sacrifice her life for him. Her favorite was always herself. Unconsciously, Sophia had already spent a year at the Pampa Royal Magic Academy. Their relationship deepened, and their cultivation improved faster and faster. 6 months ago, Yelakisi broke through to become an 8th-tier Grand Magister, while Sophia reached the peak of the 7th tier. After reaching the 8th tier, Yelakisi felt his cultivation speed slowing down. Realizing it was due to a lack of real-world experience, they discussed going out for an adventure together. To avoid arousing suspicion from the King of Xia, Sophia had someone impersonate her to continue studying at the Royal Magic Academy. The only person who could expose her identity, Flo, had found an excuse to return to the Xia Empire a month ago. After failing to entangle Yelakisi, Flo chose to give up. There were plenty who admired her. The Xia Empire wasn't unwilling to recall Sophia, it was simply that the 2-year deadline hadn't yet passed, and Princess Flo had returned to Xia early. Both kingdoms had initially intended to form a marriage alliance, but now he was backing out prematurely, which wasn't justified. The King of Xia didn't want to tear apart relations with the King of Pampa for the time being, and without a suitable reason, he refrained from recalling Sophia. Pero, or rather, he should now be called Pat. Not long ago, the King of Khatan publicly announced that he had found the long-lost prince. To compensate for Pat, the King of Khatan specifically appointed him as crown prince. Some questioned whether Pat was indeed Pero, but those who did were secretly dealt with by the King of Khatan. No one dared to publicly challenge Pat's identity again. With Khatan Empire now having a crown prince, the King of Xia, persuaded by Flo, attempted to establish friendly relations with Khatan once more. The Xia Empire was the weakest among them, so it was unwise to antagonize any other empire. Wise self-preservation was the only sensible approach. Sophia and Yelakisi agreed to leave the Pampa Empire together. Concealing their identities, they traveled across the continent. With their strength, they encountered almost no danger. The only danger came from the many assassins sent by the Khatan Empire to ambush and assassinate them, but all attempts ended in failure. Over the course of more than a year, they traveled throughout the continent and witnessed diverse customs and traditions. Sophia looked around, nothingness surrounded her. How did she get here? She remembered being with Alex just moments ago, so how could she be alone now? Suningning, wake up! A voice echoed in Sophia's ear. And who was Suningning? Why did the name feel vaguely familiar? As she tried to recall, her head throbbed painfully as if struck by a hammer blow. Observing her surroundings, Sophia saw only one path ahead. After a moment's hesitation, she moved forward. Sophia had no idea how much time had passed, but the path seemed endless. Had she fallen into an illusion? Considering this possibility, she halted her steps. Calm down. Sophia cleared her mind, striving to find a solution for breaking free. Suddenly, that voice echoed in her ears again. Suningning, wake up! Who was speaking? Sophia scanned her surroundings warily, yet only a blank expanse remained. Who exactly was Suningning? This was the second time she'd heard that name. What was the purpose of this voice? Could it be hinting at how to escape the illusion? So Suningning was her. Hearing this sent a chill down Sophia's spine. She wasn't Suningning, she was Sophia. Yet why did she have this intuition that Su Ningning was indeed herself? Who was she truly? Su Ningning? Or Sophia? Two consciousnesses clashed violently within her mind, her head throbbed with pain. Finally, the warring consciousnesses reached an impasse, neither yielded. Both identities held true. I am Su Ningning, and I am Sophia. As she declared this, the blank expanse around her dissolved, replaced by a lush green meadow. At the edge of the green meadow stood a small tree, 2 meters tall, lush and radiating a rich aura of life. She remembered she was Su Ningning, and she was Sophia. She hailed from 6,000 years in the future. She did not belong to this world. The truth struck too suddenly. Su Ningning struggled to accept it. She had indeed lived here for more than a decade, yet someone suddenly told her it was all an illusion. No, she wasn't fake. She truly existed, and the people around her were real. But if she remained sunk in this world, unable to break free, she would eventually lose herself. Her true form, the tree of life, would become sustenance for this world, and her soul would gradually fade away. At this thought, Su Ningning shuddered involuntarily. What a vicious scheme by heaven! Now that she had awakened, heaven's plan had failed. However, since it had schemed against her so maliciously, she would offer it a gift it would never forget. Reciprocity is the true way. The thriving vitality of the beings on the continent would feed back to heaven with a measure of faith. If she guessed correctly, Alex was not only the child of light but also the child of destiny. Generally, heaven would never allow a child of destiny to emerge in its own world, for the stronger the child of destiny grew, the weaker heaven became. Unless someone shared her ambition to overthrow the existing order, challenge heaven's authority, and stir within it a flicker of crisis. Su Ningning quickly devised a plan. She would weaken heaven. She retrieved a fruit from her tree of life's innate space, the golden fruit of life, painstakingly cultivated over many years. Though she had cherished it and never consumed it herself, she now resolved to use it on someone else, albeit with a tinge of reluctance. But knowing heaven would suffer brought her joy. Now inhabiting her original body, not someone else's, her cultivation had reached Tier 9 second level after regaining her memories. Though she had advanced from Tier 8 peak to Tier 9 second level, she concealed her true strength, posing as someone who had just broken through to Tier 9 to maintain a low profile. Just as Su Ningning prepared to leave, the tree of life transformed into a streak of green light and vanished into the space between her eyebrows. Slightly dazed, she stepped out and spotted Alex searching everywhere for her. Alex, I'm here. Su Ningning waved and called out to him. She had made up her mind. After settling everything here, she would depart. Alex had his own path to follow, and since they never truly belonged to the same world, they would inevitably part ways sooner or later. Having spent so much time together, she felt a pang of reluctance. But before leaving, she was determined to enjoy herself to the fullest. Sophia, thank goodness you're safe. I was worried something had happened to you. Alex exclaimed, pulling Su Ningning into an embrace as he poured out his anxiety. Alex, see? I'm perfectly fine. I've even broken through to Tier 9. How about you? Su Ningning spun around to show she was unharmed. Sophia, I obtained a mysterious cultivation technique called the tortoise shell technique, and I've also reached Tier 9. Once we return to Pangbua, I'll ask my father to propose marriage on my behalf. Alex announced happily. Let's discuss the marriage proposal later. For now, let's head back to Pangbua. Su Ningning declared decisively. She knew she would likely disappoint Alex. Her time in this world was running out. The Pangbua Empire. Upon returning, Alex immediately sought out his father. The two spoke at length in the study. They had been away for over a year, and tensions among the three empires had intensified, with border friction escalating between Pangbua and the Kadian Empire. As for the Xia Empire, the king of Xia had recently sent envoys requesting her return, all of whom the king of Pangbo had excused away. Even with the king's assistance, Sunini knew she couldn't delay much longer. Her time with Alex was running out. Sophia, you're still awake. Alex emerged from his father's study preoccupied and, without realizing it, found himself before Suninin's chamber. Sensing Alex's presence, Suninin opened the door to find him looking distracted. Why are you standing outside my door? Why didn't you knock? She pulled him inside and closed the door behind him. I heard from father the king of Xia is pressing for your return. I don't want to be apart from you. Facing Suninin, Alex poured out his heartfelt words. I have to go back eventually. You need to get used to it. Suninin didn't specify where she was returning to, perhaps back to 6,000 years in the future. I don't want to get used to life without you. This year of constant companionship had made him accustomed to Suninin's presence. Just moments ago, after leaving his father's study, his first thought was to return to her side. Alex, let's do something intimate. Suninin wasn't sure how else to comfort him. The thought that she might never see Alex again filled her with melancholy. It wasn't that she felt nothing for him, it was simply that when faced with matters of life, her own survival came first. Looking at Alex's naive demeanor, Suninin couldn't help but worry about his future. So innocent, if she weren't around, would he be deceived? Had he never heard the saying, the more beautiful the woman, the better she lies? And she was one of them. Cupping Alex's face in her hands, she thought. Such a pure man, she was going to savor his taste to see if it was as tender and sweet as she imagined. What intimate acts could a man and a woman share in the deep of night? Suninin gently traced her fingers along Alex's cheek, her words dripping with temptation. Sophia, we are not yet married. That would not be proper. It would tarnish your reputation as a woman. Realizing what Sophia was referring to, Alex's face flashed bright red as he quickly refused. What does reputation even mean? Can you eat it? Haven't we been living together this whole year? What reputation do I even have left? We're both adults, we should seize the pleasures of the moment, don't you think? Suninin spoke while edging closer to Alex, so close that if he moved even slightly, his lips would brush against hers. Sensing the sweet fragrance emanating from Suninin, Alex's heartbeat suddenly accelerated, and his breathing grew ragged. But I want to save our beautiful first time for our wedding night. Alex's voice turned hoarse, his eyes filled with both pleading and inner conflict. During their travels, for safety reasons, they had always stayed together without ever crossing any boundaries. Suninin clearly thought differently. If they truly waited until the wedding night, she would have already left. What consummation could there be? She couldn't wait that long. Today, no matter what, she was determined to taste this tender morsel. She couldn't let this prize slip away after years of waiting, especially now that it was finally within reach. If anyone dared tell her she couldn't have it, she beat them beyond recognition. But if it was Alex who said no, she naturally felt more patience and tenderness toward him. Alex, I just have one question, are you really up to it? If not, I'll find someone else. I'm going right now. Suninin played her hand, throwing out a threat before turning to leave. But a large hand grabbed her waist, and the next moment, Alex pulled her firmly into his arms. Sophia, don't push me. I could never let you go to someone else. You'll be mine until the day you die. Alex's gaze turned dangerous. No man wants to hear his woman question his ability and threaten to find another. Sophia had struck at two fatal insecurities at once. Abandoning all restraint, Alex was determined to prove himself to her today. He will definitely make her happy. She is his woman. Thinking this, Alex expressionlessly swept Suninin into his arms and strode toward the bedroom. The bedroom door was roughly opened and slammed shut, revealing Alex's inner turmoil and madness. He didn't want to hold back anymore. Entering the bedroom, Alex gently laid Sunning on the bed, afraid she might be hurt. Sophia, since you want it, I'll give you what you desire. Don't cry halfway and beg me to stop, Alex said arrogantly while roughly tearing off his white shirt. Bring it on. I won't cry, Sunning retorted defiantly. She wouldn't admit defeat easily. Alex looked fragile. Surely he couldn't last long. Little did she know she was about to pay a painful price for her actions. A man with a newly awakened appetite isn't to be provoked. Though appearing delicate, Alex lacked nothing. Adept in both magic and combat, he performed exceptionally. After removing each piece of his accessories one by one, he leaned down and finally got down to business. The night was still long, giving them ample time to understand each other and dissolve the barriers between their bodies. After what felt like an eternity, faint sounds of Sunning's pain moans and pleas began to drift through the quiet room. Yet the other protagonist showed no intention of letting her go. No matter how much she conceded, she couldn't stop his relentless advances. Sunning felt like a small boat tossed by the storm, swaying helplessly at its mercy. As dawn broke, Alex finally released her. After gently washing her, he held her with overwhelming possessiveness, as if embracing the entire world. Exhausted, Sunning drifted into sleep, allowing herself to be cradled in his arms. She had been careless. From now on, she must remember. Never question a man's capability, or the consequences would be severe. She had experienced it firsthand and never wanted to go through it again. Though Alex had been inexperienced, clumsy, and reckless at first, after gaining experience, he gradually became steady and rhythmic. It was as if the man from before wasn't him unless she begged. He wouldn't let her have her way. Sunning was awakened by a kiss. It was getting late, and Alex needed to return to handle official duties. Before leaving, he couldn't bear to wake her and had intended to give her just one kiss. The gentle kiss unexpectedly turned suffocating, startling Sunning awake from her slumber. Her cheeks flushed as she scolded, Alex, hurry up and leave. Don't disturb my sleep. Disappointed by her reaction, Alex couldn't help but feel they had just shared such intimate moments, yet afterwards Sophia treated him so coldly. How could she ignore him so soon? Had he failed to satisfy her last night? Was his performance barely passable? Sophia, is my technique not good enough? Did I hurt you? At Alex's words, Sunning, who had just woken up, uncontrollably recalled the events of the previous night, her drowsiness vanishing instantly. Not mentioning the night was one thing, but the moment he brought it up, Sunning had plenty to say to him. I told you to stop last night, why didn't you listen? Do my words mean nothing to you anymore? Sophia, I wanted to stop, but I was past the point of no return. I couldn't help it, Alex defended himself. He was telling the truth. He had wanted to obey Sophia, but his body was beyond his control. He still vividly remembered that moment, when he first experienced the profound mysteries of intimacy. Alex, what kind of nonsense are you saying? Can't you control your own body? Sunning didn't believe a word of his excuses. Do you expect me to believe that? Aware that Sophia was furious, Alex lowered his head, drooping it onto his shoulder, seeking her forgiveness. As expected, seeing Alex's pitiful expression, Ning felt sympathy and decided not to press him about last night's incident. She didn't have much time left with Alex, and she wasn't sure if they'd ever meet again, so she wanted to indulge him and make it up to him. But she still needed to set some boundaries to prevent him from getting overly pleased with himself. Alex, listen carefully, she said. What happened last night can't happen again, or you won't sleep in my bed. Sophia, don't worry, I'll definitely listen to you, Alex replied, holding her in his arms and speaking earnestly. Go attend to your duties now, don't keep King Pompo waiting too long, Ning Ning urged, pushing Alex away and urging him to see the king promptly. Alex had just returned to Pompo, so he must have a lot to handle. Moreover, Alex mentioned yesterday that he was about to succeed to the throne, meaning even more tests awaited him. Alex was already dressed neatly, ready to leave at any moment. He wore a well-tailored white shirt with the cuffs slightly rolled up, revealing his strong arms, paired with dark trousers that accentuated his upright figure. Seeing Alex dressed as usual, Ning Ning felt an added sense of stability and reliability in him. Importantly, he carried an irresistible charm that she couldn't refuse. She must be crazy, Ning Ning thought to herself. Last night's events must have made her see Alex in a different light. Get some rest. I'll come see you tonight. After planting one last kiss on Ning Ning, Alex reluctantly left. Even with his busy days, he managed to carve out time to be with her, always spending the nights at her place. Since that night when they took that final step, both had completely let go. Despite Alex's innocent appearance, he had quite a few ideas and was quite creative in that regard. If it weren't for feeling guilty toward him, Ning Ning wouldn't have indulged his antics and played along. Since we won't see each other again anyway, might as well indulge him for now. Afterward, Alex held Ning Ning in his arms, both drenched in sweat, their breaths mingling. Sophia, you won't leave me, right? Alex's deep, hoarse voice whispered in Ning Ning's ear. He didn't know what was wrong with him lately, but he kept having a premonition that Sophia would leave him and they'd never meet again. As the time for Sophia to return to the Xia Empire drew nearer, this feeling grew stronger within him. Alex, have you been so exhausted from handling state affairs lately that you're hallucinating? Ning Ning was surprised by Alex's intuition. He seemed to sense her impending departure. He never used to have such instincts unless the tortoise-shell divination had given him a premonition. Ning Ning had heard rumors about this divination method but knew little about it, only that it could foretell future events. Fortunately, Alex didn't put much faith in its prophecies now. Slightly relieved, she needed to dispel his doubts. Alex, I've reached the 9th rank and can protect myself. It's you who should be careful. The Brilliance Church keeps sending more assassins to eliminate you. As the Light's child, Alex posed a threat to the Pope's position, which was why the church wanted him dead. Ning Ning thought about her life fruit. It was time for Alex to consume it. In a few days, she would return to the Xia Empire to settle matters with the King of Xia and then leave this world. She retrieved the life fruit from her storage ring and stuffed the entire fruit into Alex's mouth. The fruit dissolved instantly upon entering his mouth, disappearing before he could react. Sophia, what did you give me? Alex asked, planting a kiss on Ning Ning's forehead. Poison. In another quarter of an hour, you'll die from it, Ning Ning joked. Poison? Sophia, why bother with poison? I have a better way. Care to give it a try? Alex didn't believe for a second that Ning Ning would poison him. Instead, he played along and offered her an alternative. What way? Ning Ning became intrigued. If Alex wanted to act, she would play along. Rather than dying from poison, I'd prefer to die on you. Alex chuckled softly, a flicker of desire in his eyes. Oh, so you're mocking me now, Alex? Since I've been too lenient with you, I must teach you a lesson and show you how powerful I am. Understanding the hidden meaning in his words, Ning Ning suddenly felt emboldened. Just as she stood up to give Alex a bloody lesson, she accidentally brushed against a place she shouldn't have. Her foot slipped, and she tumbled onto Alex, landing on top of him. Alex groaned softly, seemingly suppressing something. Ning Ning instantly understood and froze, lying motionless on top of him, hoping to get away with it. However, Alex had no intention of letting her off. After a moment to compose himself, he pinned Ning Ning beneath him, leaving her no chance to escape, and began another round of passion. 3 days later. As the time for farewell approached, Alex had many things he wanted to say to Ningning. Sophia, remember to think of me in Shia. Don't you dare talk to other men. In 6 months, I will be able to marry you. I understand, Alex. Remember what I told you. Take good care of yourself, and above all, stay alive. After saying this, Ningning turned away to wipe the tears from her eyes. From today onward, they would likely never see each other again. Watching the carriage grow smaller in the distance, Alex felt the premonition in his heart intensify. How he longed to throw caution to the wind, rush forward, stop the carriage, and keep Sophia by his side. But his status forbade it. As the prince of the Pengbo Empire, he couldn't act in a way that defied his position. Unbeknownst to him at that moment, this parting would be eternal. After traveling on the road for over 10 days, Ningning finally arrived at the capital of Xia. Today was the day of departure, with clear skies and bright sunshine, a perfect day. She followed the guard and came before the king of Xia. The silent hall appeared empty, but in reality, it concealed 2 or 3 ninth-rank masters, all trusted confidants of the king. King of Xia, no, Heavenly Dao can't even be bothered to pretend anymore. She challenged. Since you remembered everything, isn't staying here good enough? Isn't spending your life with Alex enough? The Heavenly Dao voiced its confusion directly. It had chosen the best husband for Ningning, one with the finest appearance and talent in the world, so why was she still unsatisfied?